Hello everybody, and I hope everyone's having a good day so far. This is the third video of 3.1, and we're going to be doing factoring expressions for this video. Okay, so if we look at our I can statement, it says I can factor expressions using the distributive property. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick little review of the distributive property, and then we're going to do some 3 example problems of what factoring expressions means. Okay, so the distributive property, this is also very important. And as you might have noticed so far, we've been using this word quite a bit. You've seen it in the last 2 videos, and you're going to see it some more. Okay, so the distributive property, just a quick reminder, it's when we distribute, when we distribute something that has been multiplied by a bunch of pieces inside the parentheses. Okay, so we're going to distribute this A, because it is multiplying, distribute this A to B, and distribute this A to C, because this whole piece means A times everything that's inside our parentheses. So that's why we have to multiply A by B and also multiply A by C. So it looks at something like this. Okay, that is what the distributive property means. Here's an example of it. So 2 times 5 plus 3. If I distribute this 2 times 5 plus 2 times 3. Okay, 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 3 is 6, and it equals 16. So that's a very quick review of the distributive property. What we're going to do, though, is we're actually going to use the distributive property backwards. Okay, that's what we're going to do for when we factor. So if I have A times B plus A times C, notice how they have an A in common right here. So what I'm going to do is when I notice that they have the A in common, I'm actually going to take the A out. Okay, and when I take the A out of both of them, it's going to go in one place in front, and then we're going to do B plus C in parentheses. It's a little confusing and a little hard to explain, so I think we're going to do a little bit better when we see some examples of it. But real quick, with numbers though, if I have 2 times 5 plus 2 times 3, okay, I notice that they have this 2 in common right here, so I'm going to take that 2 and take the 2 out of it. When I take the 2 out, I still have my 5 and I still have my 3, so now I'm multiplying 2 by 5 plus 3. Okay, so it's backwards. It's the opposite of the distributive property. We're doing the distributive property backwards. Okay, so let's look at some examples of this so you guys can see better what I'm trying to say here. So let's factor this expression right here. I have a 4x plus 6. In order to factor an expression, you have to find a common factor. That's why factor is a key word right there. You need to find a common factor. Okay, and if I look, I've got 4, I have 16. I got to figure out what common factor do they share. And hopefully we'll notice right away that they do share a 2. We could do that, but that wouldn't be the greatest common factor. Okay, they also share 4. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take 4 out of it. So it's kind of like I'm dividing this by 4, I'm dividing this by 4. And when I divide by 4, that 4 ends up coming out in front of some parentheses. So I'm taking a 4 out, okay, and I'm taking 4 out of 16. When I divide 16 by 4, I'm going to get 4. So 4x divided by 4, that's x when I take the 4 out, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So when I factor 4x plus 16, I get 4, because I'm taking the 4 out, times x plus 4. And the way we can check our answer to make sure it's correct is let's distribute back and see if it equals the same thing. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so when I factored out the 4, I got 4 times x plus 4, and I just rechecked my answer to make sure that it works, and it does because it equals the same exact thing. So we're not changing the value, okay, we're just writing it in a different format. Okay, so let's look at another example here. Now I have negative 5x minus 25. Okay, this one's a little tricky because of these negative signs. They do change things just a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I hope we know is that we have a common factor of 5. So, but because they're both negative, we actually have a common factor of negative 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a negative 5 of this. So when I divide negative 5x by negative 5, so I have negative 5x divided by negative 5. That's just going to equal, these negative 5's cancel each other out. That just equals x. Okay, now though, here's the tricky part. When I divide this negative 25 here by negative 5, I have negative 25 divided by negative 5. A negative divided by a negative, that's positive. So this is going to become positive. This is equal to what? 5? Positive 5. So I have negative 5 times everything inside these parentheses, which is x plus 5. Don't just simply, I can see a common mistake would be to write negative 5 times x minus 5. But if we were to redistribute these back, okay, negative 5 times x, that's negative 5x. Negative 5 times negative 5, that's positive 25. That is not the same thing as this, so that would not work. Okay? If I were to redistribute this back, negative times a positive is a negative, so that is why this is the correct answer. Okay? So it's the distributive property working backwards. Let's look at one more example, okay? Just to make sure we've got this. So 2x minus 6, I want to figure out what common factor they have, the greatest common factor, and it looks like it's going to be just 2 right here. So I can take a 2 out, okay? So now I've got my parentheses. When I divide 2x by 2, I will just get just x, okay? And when I divide negative 6 divided by 2 is going to be negative, because I have a negative divided by a positive, 3. So I have 2 times x minus 3. And that's it, you guys. It's pretty basic, pretty simple. The key steps is to find the greatest common factor. Greatest. Okay, that is the most important thing. Because if you don't find the greatest common factor and you find another factor, another common factor, but it's not the greatest common factor, you can still factor out some more then. So we want to make sure we find the greatest common factor first, and then pull it out by dividing. And that's it. When we pull it out, we put it right in front of the parentheses. So now we're multiplying 2 times everything inside these parentheses. And that's it, you guys. So I hope this worked out for you. All right, good luck on the assignment. And real quick, your number clue for this video is the number is a prime number. It is a prime number. Okay, guys, have a great day.